What is up, happy holidays? How's it going? Welcome. Blue Foundation, Green Giants, Deep Red Alliance to another Deep Red Alliance episode. I appreciate everybody jumping in on a Saturday. We canceled the stream, but we brought it back on because we got to wait. We had a little bit of an incident happen. We got to wait for a locksmith now we're just waiting for a locksmith. That's all I'm going to say, really. But so if we have to cut the stream short, it is what it is, but we're trying to get a stream in today. Worst show, best community. That's what you can always expect, right? It's the worst show with the best community, and I'm so grateful to any of the community that jumps in for this stream. Thanks for hitting the like on the way in. Thanks to any new subscribers to the channel, and thank you to any supporters or new members to the channel. Guys, we're back up on TikTok again for GDLT. I think it's G.DLT1 is the @sign. So we're being, for 2026, we're going to try to just, increase the exposure, trying new avenues. Going to try to commit more time to the streams because we got a hell of a community here. And I think we are building some good momentum despite the shadow ban. We're going to try to do longer streams in 2026. Trying to do about 1.5 to 2 hour streams because an hour ain't enough anymore. Trying to do multiple streams in a day, possibly doing a morning stream and an afternoon stream. These are some of our goals for 2026. I really do want to make this my, I wouldn't say my full-time thing, but I would like to make this my main thing. I want to make it a priority to be doing these live streams and hanging out with the Blue Foundation and talking crypto, talking about esoteric things, talking about unplugging, right? So I want to try to commit more time to this channel in 2026. Even though we stream daily, I just don't want to make my work any more of an excuse. I think this can benefit me more than my work does. I work multiple jobs, but I think I can ultimately probably make more if I were to commit more to the channel daily and maybe doing a couple of live streams per day. If that's something that you guys are interested in, let me know. I just would like some feedback of what I could do better for this channel in 2026. Obviously, releasing more shorts. I know it's all about shorts. Nowadays, people like shorts. I just don't really have the time to, I want to commit the time, but, having to get an editor, right, or an editing system to cut up shorts from our live stream, long live streams to release shorts. That already takes up, if I'm going to commit 1.5 to 2 hours twice a day to the streams, right, or twice Monday through Friday, right, to do the editing is going to take another hour, 2 hours, and that's going to be an hour or two that I really don't have to do. So love that backdrop, brother. Appreciate you. What's up, man? Good to see you. We got blue dragons, blue roses, green frogs, blue castles made out of blue bricks, stellar Saturn, our big star. Gotta love it. Gotta have blue butterflies flying around. I did add it to the prompt, but maybe they're just really small around here. I think the CapCut program can do an auto edit on your whole live stream. So what's the CapCut, Jay and Japan? Is that an app I would download? I would love to be able to do this through my phone, right? Ideally, I would like to be able to do it through a phone and not through a computer, because a computer I have very little access to. I can also help you with edits. I have all the programs. Jay in Japan. Okay, that's awesome, man. I appreciate that. We may have to get back on X in 2026 because, I'm thinking about doing maybe streaming not only on, we would have to do StreamYard again, right? So we would pay monthly for, because you got to pay for multiple live streams, unfortunately. So we would pay the monthly StreamYard. I think ultimately the stream would, us doing the live streams daily, Monday through Friday, and multiple streams a day would pay for whatever we're doing on StreamYard, just through viewership alone, not taking into account possible super chats and, donations that happen for doing it. So I think it'll be willing, for my initial investment to put it back into StreamYard, being able to stream through 2 outlets, YouTube and X. But yeah, I just really want to, like, as much as, like, I'm trying to unplug, obviously, but I have to, I like the Blue Foundation, man. I like what we're doing here, and I want to keep it intentional. I don't, I'm unplugging in the best way that I can, of just like not doom scrolling and doing, using my phone to absorb content all the time. I'm freaking, concentrating on my health, concentrating on my spirituality, concentrating on my mental. I've been doing a lot of things on the outside of this. So anytime I'm on the phone, it's going to be intentional, and it's going to be, with the Blue Foundation, right? So I want to make it purposeful when I use, when I do use these devices. I want to make it purposeful without a doubt. Also, YouTube Shorts are where the monetization is at. Exactly, Jay in Japan. I mean, yeah, dude, a lot of people tell me that. A lot of people say you got to release more shorts. You got to do more shorts, right? That's where you're going to get more views, is doing shorts, doing shorts, doing shorts, right? And, I'm tired of just like kind of just, I'm tired of just the shadow ban, man. We've been doing this for 8 years and 5,000 subscribers, right? Streaming daily, right? Or as daily as we can. So I just want a new resolution for 2026. I want to quit one of these jobs, man. That is one of my goals, is to quit at least one of my jobs, right? So I can focus more here with the Blue Foundation, right? What happened to Get Code, FPS 420? I think the Get Code wallet is still active, if I'm not mistaken, but I haven't put my Get Code link up there just because not many people use it, and not many people really use Kin anymore. I mean, except for us, right? I mean, I could put it back up there. I could put my Get Code link back up there, FPS 420, if you guys are looking for it. But yeah, it's, it's the founder is obviously not made it a priority for himself, right? So it's hard to support something like an app that the founder himself doesn't even make a priority or doesn't want to continue to upgrade, right? It's a shame. It's really a shame. He's all about this flip cash thing now, right? That he's basically taking, what he did with Get Code, but doing it with fiat, right? So it's a shame to, I'm not, Kin is at a, all-time low where we can get it for pennies, man, and you just never know. It could turn around, it could revive. We don't know what's going to happen in this bull cycle. Most likely dead cryptos are going to make gains, right? Kin's going to probably make, some filthy gains. You'll see like 100% or 200% or 400% on the daily or something, on a daily, the 1 day or the 24 hour when this bull cycle gets started for things like Kin, just because of how low cap it is, how low sentiment it is. And yeah, I mean, I don't mind putting it back up there, man, but it's, if you got the founder who doesn't even want to continue developing Get Code, and he's focused on this other app that he's making, then it kind of just, it makes it risky to accept donations through Get Code when it can possibly just be done at any point, right? I'd like to know what your opinion is on it, though, my man. I'd like to know what your opinion is. Canton Network, yeah, Canton Network's all good, but it's a new kid on the block. We're not chasing pumps, right? It's great to shout out Canton when it makes a pump, and I hope you guys are making gains off of it. But we like shouting out cryptos when they're in the deep reds and low sentiment, right? It's much better being somebody who's shouting out a deep red and in low sentiment that ends up popping off, right? Canton hasn't been a deep red yet, so we're gonna wait for it to be a deep red, and when it's in the deep reds, we'll talk about Canton, right? New kid on the block, privacy focused. Unfortunately, doesn't really do privacy at the metadata level. It's a permissioned blockchain, which is interesting. Not really a hybrid blockchain. Very focused on, enterprises. It's a lot of excitement because it's the new kid on the block that the DTCC has touched, right? The DTCC has touched a lot of other cryptos, though, not just only Canton. It's like, we can't just assume Canton is the only one that the DTCC is using. Remember, former board, the CEO or the head of DTCC is a board of advisors on Ripple, right? So XRP is connected with, and this one has more proven, track record. XRP is connected with the DTCC. Ethereum has been mentioned being used by the DTCC. Avalanche, right, has been mentioned, right? Things like Polkadot, right? So there's other blockchains. It's not like Canton is the de facto DTCC blockchain, right? I'm not trying to spread FUD here. I'm just trying to say it's early days. We'll wait for the deep reds. When it goes into the deep reds, we'll be here having more faith in Canton than the people who are putting the faith in Canton because it's just pumping, right? When it goes into the deep reds and people start to give up on Canton, that's when we'll be there. What do you think about Midnight and Night? I do like it because of the Cardano connection, man. And it's a black and white crypto. It's a new kid on the block, though. So I just chip away. I'll just accumulate little by little. With all of these cryptos, it's the same strategy, just accumulating little by little, because any day they can get accumulated by Circle, just like we saw with freaking AXL. Their development teams can get accumulated by Circle. They can be completely irrelevant 24 hours from now, right? Any of that could happen with any of these freaking cryptos, right? So never having FOMO energy, never going all in, never going and putting in more than we can afford to lose to the point that we start growing gray hairs when it does start to dump, right? Once again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a pro trader, and I'll never tell you what to do. I am always wrong. But the Blue Foundation is always right. This is the worst show with the best community, and I'm so grateful to the best community. What do you think about staking XRP on Flare? I'm not staking a lot of my XRP. I'll stake a little bit. I still think there's too many hoops to jump through to stake XRP on Flare. They need to make it easier. It needs to be easier. I love that they finally have done it, though. I love that they finally have done F assets, and I love that they finally have done FXRP. It needs to be easier. The user experience needs to be much, much easier. Flare is starting to get competition from things like Solana and other platforms that are allowing for XRP staking, right? Or XRP interest bearing, right? Or, earning off your XRP. Flare needs to make it easier. It needs to be as easy as sending XRP to your Bifrost wallet, clicking on XRP and pressing earn, and then it wraps it for you or turns it into FXRP for you. It needs to be easier. Can't be jumping through hoops that much with your XRP. And once again, not doing it with a lot of XRP. Drops of XRP are going to be valuable in the future. So I'm cool with throwing maybe 10 to 100 XRP, depending on the size of your bag, of course. 10 to 100 XRP in there and just accumulating drops through the FXRP. I know there's people who aren't doing that. I know there's people who are probably putting in way more than they can afford to lose into FXRP, right, to stake it, right? And hey, big risk equals big rewards, right? But I'm all about that steady climb. I'm all about the, blue bricks, little blue bricks at a time, making a blue freaking castle here, right? And, never want to, protecting these digital assets, right? There's going to be a cyber event, right? That's going to compromise the traditional system in every which way, not just only the traditional financial system, the traditional systems of everything, right? And I want my assets, this gold, right? I want these digital assets. That's the digital gold that I don't know if you guys saw my little short that I just released of the coffee making barista robot arm, right? But I want to be protecting it. I don't want to get caught up in the, if I'm staking my digital assets or my blue chips, I'm staking very little amounts of them, right? I want to protect my digital assets and wait for post-clarity regulations on the internet and cyber event, right? Those things need to happen first. We need to see what the rules of the road are. We need to learn from the lessons of being, opening Pandora's box, the unregulated internet, the unregulated AI space, right? There's still so many, lessons that need to be learned and so many mistakes that are going to be made, so many scams that are going to be successful, so many frauds that are going to be successful, right? We need to learn from this. So I want to protect my digital freaking gold, right? It's going to be more valuable than me thinking, oh man, let me get one, if I put this much FXRP in, I'm going to get like 1 XRP a week, right? No, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be FOMOing. I'm not here to lose it all, man. If a mistake were to happen, man, I'm here to protect my digital assets and hodl because they're scarce, right? The scarcity is what's going to make it valuable, right? The utility is what's going to make it valuable. We are not in the utility era whatsoever right now. Whatsoever. It's all speculation. It's all it's all about hedging against fiat. It's not about the utility of these digital assets to make fiat faster, to make payment systems faster, to make banking payments faster, right? We're not there yet. We're not there yet. It's going to be it's a bit of a journey. The beginning of the flip of the switch happens in 2026. The completion of the flip of the switch will happen near the beginning of 2029, right? And the new journey begins 2029 and beyond, right? The utility of these digital assets probably begins in 2030, right? The year of the magician. If 2029 is the new year of the fool, a new journey begins, right? 2028 is the completion of a journey. It's going to be all about the world. It's going to be a shift towards eco-friendly digital assets, towards being just globally conscious about what we do to the earth, right? Whether you believe in climate change or not, they're going to make you believe in it. They're going to set regulations around it, right? They're going to reward you or penalize you based on whether you are a good eco-friendly or, good earth-friendly participant, right? Let me catch up with the chat here. Appreciate everybody. You got to have some long game in you. And I do, man. I got dude, this stuff isn't meant for, this stuff's meant for the kids who are growing up right now, right? The kids who are growing up already used to talking to AI, already used to being on their, from day one, being on a cell phone, right? Or having computer screens right in front of their faces. This is what drops. They're going to be the ones working for the drops. We're going to be the new baby boomers, right? Millennials, Gen X, millennials will be the baby boomers, right? Of the new era. We're going to have so much, of these digital assets are going to be like, dude, what they're going to be at, these kiddos will be asking you for advice. They'll be like, wow, what was it like to just be able to get whole numbers of XRP and XLM for so cheap? What was it like? Wow. It was like being a kid in a candy store before it opened. Wow. I wish, man, if only I was old enough then to have been able to have that opportunity. If only I could have done that instead of playing Roblox all the time when I was 10 or something, stuff like that. Yeah, being happy to be able to buy whole coins. Exactly, Soldier. Dude, we get so greedy with doing the staking and putting so much into staking that we don't even realize that having whole numbers is already going to be such a major benefit for us in the future. And I love that we have a Blue Foundation here that sees the benefit of having whole numbers of these freaking digital assets, especially the ones that have very, a scarce amount or limited supply, right? The scarcity will be tested, especially when we go into utility, right? And it has to be a high price. It has to be a high price, right? For these utility assets, the ones that are tackling the settlement layer, identity layer, governance layer, compute layer, privacy layer, they have to be a higher price to be more efficient and to be, they want to use tiny fractions versus using whole numbers, right? Because then it doesn't make sense to send 1 million XRP, right? When you could send 1 drop of XRP, right? Instead, that's or 1 million drops of XRP, right? It also makes it, less volatility equals more, it increases security as well. XRPL needs Canton. XRPL has XPX. They have the privacy stuff. They have HBAR for governance. I wouldn't say it needs Canton, personally. Canton is going to be very interesting. Canton needs XRPL. Canton needs a settlement layer. Canton isn't a settlement layer. The settlement layer is the one that will draw the most value. The one that will be utilized 24/7, 365, all the freaking time, and in high amounts of volume and value, right? We cannot lose sight of the value of settlement. We want to underestimate right now XRPL because it's just the nature of the game. People want to always underestimate XRP. even though we're not in the utility era whatsoever, and it's still a highly speculative era, people will fight for drops. People will need drops to eat. I need tokens. I need tokens to eat, said the guy from Severance. Lumens will be Stroops, right? I like Canton, guys. Don't get me wrong. I just know there's a lot of people who are talking about Canton because it's turning green. This is not the type of mentality we work with. We talk about Canton when it goes into the deep reds, and you'll see how big of a fan of Canton I can be when it goes into the deep reds. I do like the potential. I do like the tech. I do like the connections. We are underestimating, saying XRPL needs Canton. No, the whole blockchain space needs XRPL. The whole banking system, the whole world needs XRP. They need that instant finality. They need the micropayments potential. They need the security and efficiency of XRPL. If XRP fails, blockchain is not a success. Blockchain is the freaking end game. Blockchain is the most valuable thing. Everything else that goes with blockchain, whether it's a permission ledger, permission blockchain, or non-blockchains that are DAG-based, they enhance the utility of blockchain, but blockchain can exist without them. The cake can exist without the icing. The icing just makes the cake taste better, right? When is it happening? I mean, dude, 2030 and beyond, bro. If we can hold till then. Bought that XPX dip today. Good on you, man. 0003. Amazing. Amazing value. And I'm hoping it kind of even goes to 0002. That would be amazing if it went there, dude. Easy. I mean, it's not easy, but this will probably be the easiest that it'll ever be to get a million of those tokens, man. It feels great to possibly get that, right? Hundreds of thousands even feels great. It's a 9 billion supply. Once again, it's a coffee, like this crypto can die tomorrow, right? Any of these cryptos can die tomorrow, right? That's why they're all just, it's just chipping away with coffee money that we could afford to lose, because if it does die tomorrow, we're not stressing and we don't have freaking gray hairs, right? As great as the tech could possibly be, as great as the connections are, right? Any of these cryptos, whether it's Canton, whether it's XRPL, whether it's XLM, whether it's XDC, XPX, they can die tomorrow, right? Something can happen tomorrow, a curveball that you never expected, an accumulation of a development team, right? Now that we're starting to see acquisitions of lower cap cryptos from higher cap corporations or platforms, get ready, man. This is how the 90% go away. They consolidate, right? This is why it's important for having a very clear use case and a very necessary use case. What did Ashish Burles, dude, this is why our video section, if you guys haven't seen our video section on the channel, this is why it's still relevant. All the little clips from things like VeChain, XRPL, ADA, right? All these little clips. What was one of our first videos? It's all about payments. If you cannot do payment well with your blockchain, efficiently, securely, proven, right? If you can't do the payment aspect well, you can't build anything else on top of it well. You have to execute the transaction. You have to do the ledger transaction very well, to do smart contracts well, to do supply chain well, to do identity well, to do all these other things. It involves a payment. It involves a transaction, right? You're going to need to make a payment one way or another, and you're going to need to settle one way or another. That's why the settlement layer is the most valuable layer in the layer stack and the most necessary layer for the Internet of Value, without a doubt. All right, what else do we got here? XRP drops. Yeah, it's a million for one XRP, 10 million Satoshis for one freaking Bitcoin, right? By the way, thanks for hitting start earning Bitcoin on your Ember apps, by the way, guys. We are cranking out Satoshis on the Ember app, cranking out passive Bitcoin just by hitting it daily, start earning Bitcoin. The ad pops up, we close the window, open the app again, start earning Bitcoin. Bam. Don't even have to look at an ad to just start making passive Satoshis and stacking them up. Put some predictions games on the Christmas games. Dude, Detroit Lions getting upset. I did not see that coming. I thought the blue, oh, okay, guys, sorry. I got to step away for a second. If you guys are patient, willing to wait like 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so, I got to help out, something with we were waiting for a locksmith to come in. So chat amongst yourselves if you guys like for about 15 minutes here. At most, hopefully. We'll be right back, okay? All right, we're back. Okay, sorry for the dead air there, guys. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for the patience. What's up, Mo Zerps? Good to see you. XCN changed to Kinetic, I believe. Oh, man. XRP is useless, bro. Actual scam. All right, well, the OCC just approved Ripple National Trust Bank. They're regulatory compliant. They educated the IMF. So if it's a really big scam, man, we'll see. We'll see. Sorry that you missed out on 10-cent XRP, bro. That's all I'm saying. So many people that missed out, and then they just want to talk crap about it. All I know is when I make a XRP payment, it goes through. And it goes quicker than Bitcoin. First ones to be focused on regulatory compliance, being eco-friendly, doing microtransactions very quickly and efficiently, low fees. Appreciate it, though. Actual scam. Have you ever made a payment with XRP? Have you actually ever used XRP? Then how is it useless when you can make a payment with XRP? How is it useless, man? I'd like to know what you think makes it completely useless. What is it that makes it so useless, my dude? The arbiter. Anyone staking XRP on Flare? True G. XVG. What's up? D Curry in the house. XVG. Yeah, I like it as a privacy-focused crypto. You know, they say they're ISO 20022 compliant, but there hasn't been any entities that have actually confirmed their ISO 20022 compliance. They cannot provide decentralized recovery. That is a big downfall or a big red flag there. I do like that they're privacy focused. I do like that they're an X crypto. I do like that they can possibly make some massive gains because they have done that in past bull cycles over and over again. So as a speculative asset, I do like XVG. Merry Christmas, G and Blues. What's up, bullish choices? But yeah, if you guys think XRP is useless, please tell me what makes it useless. What is it actually? What is the unusefulness of XRP? Please tell me. Why would Solana do this whole advertising campaign to bring XRP to Solana? Why would they waste their time bringing XRP to Solana if it's useless? Why would FXRP be the first asset that Flare chooses if it is useless? Right? So tell me, what makes it useless? What makes XRP completely useless and such a scam? I'm very interested to know. Everybody just says these words, but they don't bring any explanation to it. They just go, no, it's Bitcoin, dude, proof of work. Or, you know, you got Bitcoin maxis that are saying it. Dude, we're diversified. You don't have to worry about us, right? You don't have to worry about us. We got XRP, we got XLM, we got XDC, we got XPX, we got XX Network, we got XTZ, we got HBAR, we got ALGO, we got ADA, we got Blue Rose, we got DAG, we got BSL, we got Hashpack, right? We got the whole decentralized recovery. We got Casper, we got Multiverse X, the whole decentralized recovery alliance. We got QNT, we got Quant, right? What else? You know, like there's plenty of deep reds that we have bought, right? That we have freaking digital. We got Dragons, we got Tibber, right? We got SHX, right? What makes XRP so useless? I'm very interested to know, right? CYAI, we called that out when it was at what, 0001, and then when it went to 409 for a little bit, right? AI agents on Solana, AI agent ecosystem on Solana. Let's go. Titan, what's up, man? Good to see you. Not much. Just trying to figure out what makes XRP so useless. And people just say it and then they don't explain anything, right? By the way, XAH, right? Zahao, right? Dude, Slaughterhouse dude, right now, Dragon Chain, if you bought that 007 Dragon Chain dip, holy cow. Dude, you have a chance. There's people that have chances right now to get 100K dragons. 100K of a blockchain as a service leader platform right here, right? Freaking Disney's blockchain, dragons. Yeah, it's either zero or hero for sure with XRP and a lot of these other digital assets, right? It's zero or hero with Tibber. It's zero or hero with XRP. It's zero or hero with XLM, XDC, XPX, SHX, HBAR, ALGO, right? Dropping game, you going to be on coffee time? Hopefully we can be on coffee time this Sunday. We'll see. Our New Year's resolution for 2026 is to commit more time to not only this channel and doing more streams on this channel daily, trying to do 2 streams, hopefully Monday through Friday, daily. But yeah, trying to show up for more coffee times and XRP boardrooms and crypto therapy sessions. Trying to just make more time for, because yeah, I want this to be the main thing, man. And I want to quit one of my jobs. I work multiple jobs, and it's hard to do, to do this and to do 2 jobs at the same time. And just putting in the grind, it gets exhausting. And I don't, I have the long game in mind, man. I have the bigger picture in mind. So I'm like, you know what? I'll do all these 3 just so I could keep accumulating cheap digital assets. But if I could just do this and still be able to do what I'm doing, like, that would be amazing, man. Why is Fartcoin on Coinbase but XDC is not? Because the ones that they make hard to accumulate, there's power to those. Remember, QNT Quant was at $5, $1 on Bitmart, right? SHX was triple zeros on Qcoin, right? They make these digital assets hard to get for a reason, right? Dragon Chain you can only get through like Uniswap. XPX you can only get through like PancakeSwap. A big strategy, and they tell you this too in their interviews, they don't want to just start like listing on all of these exchanges, right? Because that's not their game. Their game is to try to control the amount of level of investment over time. That's why they have a slow rollout. Dude, that's why you see Doge everywhere and you see meme coins literally everywhere, because they do draw the liquidity, but they're also trying to freaking sell out so hard to get the users, to get the investors. These other digital assets, since they're partnered with enterprises and banks, they're trying to limit the amount of people that actually are invested in these projects. They don't want that many people to have these digital assets. Why do you think that when XRP was super cheap, under 20 cents, under 30 cents, it was delisted off Coinbase? It was delisted off major exchanges. There is a reason, you guys. It wasn't because they were scared of the regulatory concerns, right? Because they have a lot of scam coins on their freaking platform, for sure. It wasn't because they were scared about the regulatory concerns. They were scared that too many people would be, especially on a big platform like Coinbase, would be going hard accumulating cheap XRP. So what did Coinbase do? Because they're in the know, they're part of that secret club, right? They're one of the gatekeepers, if you will. They closed the gate on XRP to limit, only the faithful, only the true ones will find ways to accumulate the cheap XRP, right? 2026 will be the relief year. Oh, dude, it's going to be massive, man. It's going to be wonderful seeing the bullishness coming into this market. They hate us because they ain't us. We not hyper-focused on one. Exactly, man. Thank you for all your knowledge, G. Thank you guys for freaking bringing the inspiration to me, man. That's what it is. It's a community here, I wish I had money to buy more DRGN. I always miss bottom Coca-Cola. All good, man. You got dragons. We got dragons at least, dude. We got whole numbers of a 433 million supply that they're trying very hard to just not make you even take into account. Quantum resistant crypto, developer friendly, created at Disney, right? Can't ignore this. Can't ignore the blue dragons, and they love their dragons, man. IOTA in the house. Let's go. Yeah, IOTA. Gotta love IOTA. Yeah, Dragon Chain's quantum resistant, man. They got high-end security and great encryption, dude. Dragon Chain is a top-tier blockchain as a service. open source platform, right? And DRGNs are used as like, the gas for the services that are provided, right? They are the gateway to the blockchain world. They are the gatekeepers, right? What do dragons do? They protect treasure. What do frogs do? They're gatekeepers as well. There's a lot of esoteric knowledge with frogs and gates. They're the ones that are choosing which agents can do what and when, right? Tibber's still in stealth, y'all. Still easy to accumulate whole numbers of a billion supply of the future agent permission layer right here. Gotta love it, dude. So, I mean, hell, we get 100 of these out of a billion supply, and this thing turns out to be the freaking de facto machine-to-machine know your agent, right? We're not even in the era of like true AI agent utilization here, right? Yeah, go to Dragon Chain's website, man. You'll see the type of security they're working with, right? I still don't see the benefit of doing that. I don't see it at all. The more the more liquidity. How is that not better for the chain? Dude, when you already have enterprises that want to use your chain, they don't want people like you and me. It's a matter of security. They're trying to protect the blockchain security because let's say you have whales or people like you and me who go ham on these things when they're on like available everywhere. You're allowing too much volatility. You're allowing too many hands to get large amounts of what you want large amounts of. These banks and the enterprises want the control and the large amounts of the blockchain, right? They want the majority of the blockchain, right? They don't want degen traders who can get it anywhere to have large amounts of these blockchains and then really compromise the security of these blockchains in the future when they do take it to higher prices, right? So that's why they play these mind games. They want you to think these digital assets are worthless, and it's much easier to make you think that it's worthless when it's not as liquid, when it's not on every freaking exchange. A lot of these exchanges are not even compliant, right? A lot of these exchanges are freaking frauds or scammers. That's why you can't trust every centralized exchange that has listings of these digital assets. That's why you want to take these digital assets off these exchanges as quickly as possible and putting them into our cold storage, right? Hell, if you want an actual, like, dude, ask your, if you don't want to, like, and I understand if you don't believe me, I'll never tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a pro trader. I'm always wrong. But ask the AI. Why would let's say, the question you would ask your AI is, why would a crypto not want to be on as many exchanges as possible if it's an enterprise-focused or bank-focused crypto, right? We're talking about enterprise-focused and bank-focused crypto. So that's the way you would have to adjust the question is say, if you're a enterprise-focused blockchain with a dedicated token, why would you not want to be on as many exchanges as possible from the get-go? Why is it better to be on few exchanges to start off with, right? And you'll get some good answers, man. I know it doesn't make sense to you because you're like, hey, wait, but doesn't that strengthen the chain? The strength is already in the chain. The strength is already in the NDAs, the private GitHub repos that these enterprises are. The delegated amounts of this blockchain that are already in their possession, and they're just waiting to flip the switch for the price to be high, right? Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, Paul Michael's house.
I can't talk about that. Yeah. Okay. Google, I know it's not a X crypto, but thoughts on Anzen Finance? Frogs to destroy them. Google, Walt Disney, GitHub, DRGN still listed there, open source. Exactly. Yeah, still listed there. Dragon Chain's still there. Dragon Chain, I believe, was their first open source project, right? If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. But it was definitely their first open source blockchain project that they built in-house and then said, hey, you know what? Just like Ripple realized with Interledger protocol, right? Ripple realized with Interledger protocol, hey, you got to be a nonprofit foundation. This cannot be built within this for-profit company. So they let go of their CTO, Stefan Thomas, their original CTO, Stefan Thomas, who's a freaking genius. One of possibly my favorite person in this crypto space. Him and Greg Kidd, amazing, right? For different reasons. But yeah, they tell him, okay, Stefan Thomas leaves Ripple, goes to create the nonprofit foundation that is the Interledger Foundation, right? They made it to interchain with Bitcoin. Yeah, they made it to interchain with Bitcoin. Yeah. Dude, they've been doing interoperability. They're going to be the window to blockchains for these enterprises, for these businesses. It's blockchain as a service, and Dragon Chain is being used. It's a hybrid platform, man. This is a hybrid platform, and Dragon gets used for the service. It lowers the complexity of having to even understand or integrate blockchain with Dragon Chain for these enterprises to be able to utilize any blockchain, right? To be able to get the blockchain experience without having the know-how, right? Yeah, they got the US patents. They're saying they're America's blockchain, right? You could do digital identity on the platform as well. Hell, you're already seeing Disneyland doing things with wristbands, right? Where you go up to a certain like Mickey door and it opens up, you to a new area, right? They're already training people at these places like Disneyland, Crypto.com Arena, right? For this ubiquitous payments digital identity future, without a doubt. Thoughts on Anzen Finance? Anzen Finance. I think I remember checking into it. I got to do it again, man. I can't really draw any. I remember looking into it, and if I don't really remember too much from it, then I must have not have been too into it. It might be a good speculative crypto, though. At least might be a good speculative crypto to look into. Interchain. Yeah, interchain. Gotta love the interchain, man. Let me see. Get your bags up. Shout out to everybody here. Much love to the Blue Foundation. Hopefully you guys can still hear me and see me. Sorry I got distracted there. Somebody random was asking me a question. It's just is what it is when you're just parked in the middle of freaking nowhere here. Where do I get a hat? That store around the corner. The hat actually was given to me by XRP Bags, man. XRP Bags. I had 2 hats like this, right? My first hat was a similar hat from XRP Bags. Had a signature, had his signature on it, right? But unfortunately, the fires of last year and the winds blew it away off my head. It flew away, man. It was freaking nuts. And then XRP went up to $3 right after, from 50 cents to that, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. But then he was kind enough to mail me another hat. HBAR for 2026, bear or bull? Bullish. Bullish, Ben Woody. Bullish for 2026. HBAR is going to be massive. There's a lot of people who are, big time XRP whales that are now starting to focus their investments over to HBAR as well, right? It makes sense. If they know, these whales know that these two are premier members of the Decentralized Recovery Alliance. They can do what no other blockchains can do. It's very important in your blockchain stack, especially if you're going to be working with trillions or billions of dollars, to be able to provide decentralized recovery. If you're going to work with businesses, if you're going to work with enterprises, if you're going to work with banks, if you're going to work with regulators, you have to provide decentralized recovery. I cannot stress this enough. People are overlooking or don't understand what's going on here. This was created, the Decentralized Recovery Alliance was created in 2024. There's blockchains that have been able to provide decentralized recovery without, you don't have to be part of this alliance to provide decentralized recovery, right? The Big Star allows for recovery of assets, but they're not part of the Decentralized Recovery Alliance. But The Decentralized Recovery Alliance is a lot of USA-based cryptos, right? A lot of USA-based companies and cryptos or blockchains or non-blockchains that are a part of this Decentralized Recovery Alliance. These guys are differentiating themselves from most cryptos. If your crypto is planning on work, yeah, Canton can do it, right? We need Canton is a permissioned blockchain, so obviously you can do it. If you're permissioned and not permissionless, right? There's more value in the permissionless than in the permissioned. But not to say that it can't draw value, but being permissioned, remember, it's not hybrid. I mean, I think they said they're a hybrid blockchain, but from what I understand, they are permissioned blockchain, straight up just permissioned blockchain. If I'm wrong, you guys could tell me. I'm still learning a lot of new stuff for Canton. I appreciate it, the education on it. But yeah, from what I understand, it is a permissioned blockchain, right? Privacy focus, enterprise focus, tapped by the DTCC. Yes, we know, right? I know a lot of people who love to chase the pump, right? Will be here when it's in the deep reds. I'll talk all about Canton when it's in the deep reds. But as long as it's making gains right now, and it's only been out for like 90 days or so, right? We'll wait for deep reds across the board. That's just the way we do things. People were getting on me about Caspa, right? This whole chat was talking about Caspa. You got to get Caspa. You got to get Caspa. I said, I'll wait for deep reds. They were trying to get it. All right, guys, phone overheated. You guys know the deal. I appreciate everybody's support. Thanks for the support, everybody. But yeah, we'll wait for when Canton is in the deep reds right across the board. We'll wait for every crypto that's in the deep reds across the board, because they eventually do have their deep reds day. It may be a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, but whenever it's in a deep red, we will be there when the sentiment is at its lowest and not people are FOMOing or chasing the pumps. We are not doing that. We will never do that ever again. It's just not in our nature. So we'll just, and once again, I'm not trying to talk crap on this, man. I like Canton. I like what they're all about. I like what they're going for. I love that they're focused on compliance. That's really, really big, right? Not many digital assets and blockchains that are focused on compliance. So I'm all about it, but it's just like, I'll wait for deep reds, man. There's going to be a deep red day where it's red across the board. We've seen this for every freaking crypto, right? Unless Canton may be an anomaly, then hey, kudos to you if you guys win. I'll take the L. I've taken the L on hundreds of cryptos, right? I'm always wrong. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a pro trader, and I'll never tell you what to do. Hopefully you just, once again, it's just my perspective. You guys have your own, and you guys have your, I hope this doesn't influence you either way of what you're doing, right? It's just, I'm here to just have a conversation with y'all. You guys, your opinions are just as valid as mine and just as equal as mine. We're all here in the same boat. We're all here as a community, and I'm so grateful to everybody's support. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend wherever you're at before my freaking phone drops out being overheated again. We did our hour. Hopefully we can commit more time to the streams in 2026. I'll try to see you guys again sometime soon. We got a hell of a work week coming up as we end out the year, full on 12-hour days. But we'll try to make some time to release a short or release something on the daily here for this channel. So appreciate any new subscribers. Thanks to any new appreciate any new subscribers, appreciate any new members, and thanks for hitting the like on the way out. Thanks for checking out the description below. Thanks for using our referral code for the Ember app to earn passive Satoshis and passive Bitcoin to mine Bitcoin through your phone. Thanks for anybody sending donations to our Coinbase ID or our Ethereum address. It helps us out tremendously, guys, and it helps keep doing what we're doing here without anybody having to jump through hoops to get access to the content. So once again, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Blue Foundation. Thank you, Green Giants. And thank you, Deep Red Alliance. The future is distributed ledger technology, and the future is bright. Our future is bright. We got the golden eyes, and we keep it crypto. I'll see you guys in the Blue Castle. Much love. Adios.